A question for you. My question is, we have the Honorable Senator Anil Roberts on the line. Oh boy, oh boy.
All right, good.
Honorable Senator, Mr. Roberts, a pleasant good morning to you, my brother.
Good morning to Real Media TV. Good morning, Andy Pitbull Williams. Good morning, Brian Manning. Tell me who's your father. Good morning, Lennox. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Lennox and Andy, I wanted to press record because I'm going and tell all you exactly how it is. Make sure it's recording. Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, I have become sick and tired of the Boys and Girls Club that parades and masquerades as CARICOM. Over the last 2 years, I have seen CARICOM prime ministers getting involved in the domestic affairs of individual sovereign states. For example, we saw the prime minister of Dominica, who when they have election, plane does land from outside, and Dominica's population is a mere 55,000. But they have 73,000 people on the roll to vote. This man, Roosevelt, now I forget his name, but I call him the star boy of stupidity, right? I think it's Roosevelt Scarrett. It's Scarrett, yes. He came to Trinidad and Tobago invited by Rowley when they had a $13.1 million crime as a health issue in Hyatt and so on, and they didn't even procure it properly. They had to come back to the Parliament and the Senate because they broke the law. We were in the midst in 2023 of a local government election, and this star boy of stupidity, the Prime Minister of Dominica, jumped in the fray and tell us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, that Rowley is really a nice fella. He's fantastic and lovable and so on, as if we care to know what he had to say when we living under the oppression of Rowley as a tyrannical dictator. Then in a press conference, the issue of the kidnapping of Brent Thomas was a heated issue in the CARICOM because a judge, learned Justice Devendra Rampersad, had stated that what had taken place involving Trinidad and Tobago Police Service officers, a CARICOM jet, the CARICOM Secretariat, and the sovereign nation of Barbados to allow a CARICOM jet holding Trinidad and Tobago police officers to land on the tarmac of Grantley Adams Airport, meet Barbados police officials, go to the hotel room of a paying customer, Brent Thomas, a citizen of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, beat him, drag him out, put him in a cage, and leave him on a hot tarmac without water and food for 13.5 hours, then return him forcibly to Trinidad and Tobago without a piece of paper, without an extradition warrant, without charge, without due process, without natural justice. That issue was in the air, and Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the honorable leader of the opposition at the time, was asking questions. How could this happen? Who authorized our officers to go to Barbados? Who asked CARICOM for use of their jet? Who in Barbados responded to who in Trinidad and Tobago to facilitate, assist, and encourage the kidnapping of a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago? When asked about this, Roosevelt Scarrett, fast and out of place, Prime Minister of Dominica at the time, said that the opposition is making mischief, that is just politics, and he just went on to attack Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the UNC, and I said, but what madness is this? Where is his diplomatic credentials, understanding, and knowledge? Who the hell is he? And why is there this affinity and love for Rowley and the PNM? Then Rowley immediately departed and went to Barbados. And up to now, Mia Amor Motley, Honorable Prime Minister of Barbados, has not told the Trinidad and Tobago government, the Trinidad and Tobago people, the CARICOM people, or the people of Barbados? Who, how, why, where, and when did her government, allow a CARICOM jet to land on their tarmac in their country with Trinidad and Tobago police officers to facilitate a kidnapping of a Trinidad and Tobago citizen? So now, fast forward, I am seeing these same Rowleyites, these same CARICOM brethren, including now the Honorable Ralph Gonsalves, who describes himself as 6-star general because he won election 6 times in St. Vincent, attacking Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, the duly elected by a landslide Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, winning a majority of seats on April 28, 2025, based on a platform of safety, security, and providing citizens with the good old days of Trinidad and Tobago without guns and blood flowing in the street. Kamla Persad-Bissessar living up to her promise made to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, joins with the USA in stamping out narco-terrorism, narco-trafficking, drug trade, gun running, and human trafficking. And the crime rate in Trinidad and Tobago is taking a dip downwards. We need it to go much further. Kamla Persad-Bissessar wants it to go down nearly to zero. She wants to keep us safe. And while she is doing this, up jumps this big belly 6-star general, the man who feels he's a topper from St. Vincent, and attacks my Prime Minister, our Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, in the most vile, undiplomatic, inappropriate manner, calling her misguided and saying that the CARICOM needs statesmen and stateswomen. Like who, Rowley? Like who? The starboy of stupidity from Dominica, Skerrett? Like who? Mia More Motley, who cannot even answer a simple question. Who asked her to allow Brent Thomas to be kidnapped on her soil? This Ralph Gonsalves jump in and start to attack the Prime Minister? Well, let me tell you, all you better leave my Prime Minister alone. Because as soon as that happens, I say, there is something, there must be something making this man cling to Rowley. There must be something motivating this human being. Human beings don't just act so passionately with venom without motivation. And lo and behold, this man, Ralph Gonsalves, married to Eloise Gonsalves, a citizen of St. Vincent and Trinidad and Tobago. Her father was Dominican, and her mother was Trinbagonian. And they have 2 children, Storm and Soleil, who have dual citizenship. But this small, tiny family of 4, this family of prestige and elitism that has lived off the largesse of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for decades, gets the opportunity under the PNM to get 3 houses, not 1 house, not 2 houses, but 3 houses at Victoria Keys. And Keith Christopher Rowley yesterday jump out to defend his friend, Big Belly 6-star General Ralph Gonsalves. And Keith Rowley made it worse for Ralph Gonsalves, because Keith Rowley said the UNC did Victoria Keys and they raised the prices and the values of those apartments and condominiums to 2.5 to 3.5 million. Yes, but Rowley sold it. Rowley's PNM sold it to Ralph Gonsalves' son for 1.96 million. A profit, an increase in assets of over 1.5, 1.6 million in value. So a discount of 1.6 million. He sold another one to Eloise, his friend Ralph Gonsalves' wife, for 1.625 million. $1 million less than its actual value. And then another one to Soleil Gonsalves. And hear this one. She was a student studying at UE. She worked nowhere at the time. She did not draw her pay. Other people are out there working hard, families, little children, people with degrees, upwardly mobile Trinbagonians. But here comes this little student who couldn't afford to pay for nothing. So daddy and the brother had to sign documents that they would pay. And it was rent to own, while other citizens were ready with a mortgage, their down payment, their full purchase price. They were waiting and they couldn't get. But yet Ralph Gonsalves' family, through Rowley, his friend, and the PNM, got preferential treatment. It does not end there. Further investigations show that Storm Gonsalves, the son of Ralph Gonsalves, he signed a declaration form. The declaration form is a very serious document, Lennox would let you all know. When you sign that and commission of affidavits and you swear on it, it is a very serious thing. If you put any false information in a document like that, you are liable to imprisonment, fine, and conviction. It is not a joke. Well, this gentleman, Storm Gonsalves, signed on an affidavit that he makes 25,000 TT a month. Now, it's just a coincidence, but once you make 25,001 cents a month, you're disqualified from purchasing HDC property, subsidized housing. And whether it's expensive subsidized or low-cost subsidized, it's subsidized and it's paid for by taxpayers' money. But this man signed this, and now the information is coming out that he's a multi-millionaire in US. He's a real estate developer, not just an app company CEO. So he did not state all of his income sources and so on. So that has been sent to the police for investigation, because at the bottom of that form, Lennox will know, it says, which I note or believe to be false, or do not believe to be true, I am liable to a fine and or imprisonment. Secondly, this young man, Storm, son of Ralph Gonsalves, on a form that the HDC requires all citizens to fill out, because it's a due diligence statement, they asked him for his BIR number. Lennox knows what's a BIR number. All of you know what's a BIR number. When you pay your tax, you have your BIR number that is specific to you and only you.
Board of Inland Revenue.
Correct, Board of Inland Revenue. Thank you for helping me make it pellucid. And in order to take part of and parcel of any government program, even if it is food card or grants, you have to state, if you are below the income level for BIR number and so on, then that's fine. But you have to state your BIR number to show that you pay taxes. So Storm Gonsalves says that he works in Trinidad and Tobago as a app developer, and he makes 25,000 TT per month. However, he left blank the part where they asked him for his BIR number. There is no BIR number. Therefore, Ralph Gonsalves and Storm Gonsalves, the police will investigate whether or not you have paid any taxes in Trinidad and Tobago, income tax based on your salary that you signed and admitted. You make $25,000 per month. If you have not paid 1 cent of tax, that is a breach of the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, and there are serious consequences to that. Finally, I was wondering where this passion, so I see where the passion coming from, to attack Kamla, because Ralph is Rowley. Rowley helped him, benefit, investment, money, millions. But here the next part. It came out yesterday and it circulated in Trinidad and Tobago because the can of worms open for Ralph Gonsalves, 6-star Big Belly General in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ralph Gonsalves' wife, Eloise, the same one who get HDC property to buy, is a landlord of a multi-million-dollar mansion that is and has been rented by the Maduro government for its ambassador to St. Vincent for a number of years. Now we see why and where the personal, inappropriate, undiplomatic attacks on the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago come from Ralph's pocket, from his bank account. Maduro money in Ralph and his wife's bank account. So tell Ralph Gonsalves, stay in your lane. Leave Kamla Persad-Bissessar alone. She is protecting her people. She is duly elected the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and will take decisions to ensure her people are safe and prosperous. So 6th General Big Belly Ralph, you should have hushed. You should have never answered the Douglar. God bless. Any questions?
Yes, well, sir. Weeper. That will be big. That is a big thing there. A Prime Minister of our next country, St. Vincent, son, had to be charged. Wife, all who receive houses, receive it under false claim. That the whole family get tapped in a bacchanal there. Now we
the police now, the police, I have sent it to the police in an official report. The police of Trinidad and Tobago must do their job. People always try to say, well, Anil, all you lock up with the separation of powers, the executive of which I am a part. The executive is the government of Trinidad and Tobago, led by the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. There is a separation of powers between the executive, the judicial, and the president, as well as an independent institution of the police. So the police have to do their job now based on the report made to them and investigate the declaration made by the son of Ralph Gonsalves in trying to acquire housing from the HDC based on his salary and his signed declaration, as well as sorry, someone was interrupting, calling. As well as, has he paid taxes on that 25,000 amount that he signed in 2018 to now? Because if he has not, you can do the maths about how much tax he has evaded from 2018 for 7 years to 2025 at $25,000 per month. $100,000 every 4 months. So in other words, $300,000 a year by 7 years is $2.1 million at the tax level that he is supposed to pay at that salary. You can do the maths and see what would have been defrauded the people and the government of Trinidad and Tobago. He has no BIR number. Furthermore, the officials at HDC who allocated a unit and allowed him to purchase a unit without a BIR number, them have questions to answer to the police too. Because you must qualify. There are criteria. You are a citizen, you pay taxes, you tell the truth, how much you make, you are not a landowner or a house owner. There are policies in place. And if someone leaves it blank on a BIR number, that should be a red flag to any public servant who's in charge of filing those due diligence forms. How did it go ahead? And it was signed by Newman George. the husband of Bridget Anisette George, and the lawyers who put forward.
Minister, I know you have a busy schedule. And it is more, of course, an attempt to deal with the trolls and the social media, what I consider to be gossipers. Firstly, the former Prime Minister Rowley said that what was said there, he would normally not respond to it because he will respond to it usually with a shovel, picking it up with a shovel. And then Gonsalves said that dirty water will not tarnish gold. What's your response to that? I have one more question, but what's your response to that?
Well, when your gold is fake and it's gold-plated, big belly 6-star general, it does wash off and turn black. Secondly, Rowley, you will know about shoveling all sorts of things, because you had to shovel the 3 dogs as you walk all your female ministers down your steps into your dungeon and let them wait on the red couch for you in order to get a ministerial portfolio. So, Rowley, I really couldn't care less about you, you dishonest, pathological email gate, Greenvale gate, identity gate.
Great. And the other one,
narcissistic, oppressive. You have been dealt with.
Wait, say over that, because like somebody was calling you.
Just one. The other one is that of you think with what man Andy. The other one is that on social media, it is about trying to obfuscate or deviate from live sports.
What? Hey, Lennox, 11 years, 2,000 words, big expose. The guy mentioned Anil's name. Tell him rest me now. Rest Anil, you could try what you want. Anil never did anything wrong. Keep trying. But hear me, check Faris and the rental. You see how I call Faris Al-Rawi name? And the building Alexander 3, was he renting and receiving rent for a commercial building without having change of use, with only having residential? Check out that. Check out Faris and the indemnity he signed with Vincent Nelson. Was that illegal or legal? Check out Faris Al-Rawi, for example. Was there a document with the Jack Warner case, or was there no document? Did someone perjure themselves in that? Check out Rowley for his Inez Gate property. Did he fill it out in the Form B, or did he leave it out? Did he put a false value, or did he leave it out? Did he defend and recognize on his form the 500,000 benefit he received from his good friend and business partner, Warner Construction? You see how you're talking? Live sport. They could talk live sport. Check all the children out there who benefited from live sport across the board. And if in any time or anywhere there was anything wrong, there would never be, because Anil Roberts don't do things wrong. So let them all fire burn them. PNM is gone. They are rejected and will remain rejected.
My question, because you call a very, very big person there, Newman George, who we all know is a golfing partner or a very good friend to Dr. Rowley, who also is the husband of the former House Speaker. Could he, as a public servant, bypassing that very important thing as not having a BIR number, could he be charged too?
Well, you want to ask that to the police. I's not the police, but he signed off on the document. And if the investigation shows that there was no BIR number, that the young man had never paid taxes in Trinidad and Tobago, and that the declaration was false, well, and the lawyers who activated also, which happened to be Martin Daly Associates, which Sharon Rowley is a lawyer there too. So all of them had to answer, I don't know. Police, do your work. Blessings.